Welcome to the 27 presented by The Classic. We are the world's first and only student-teacher podcast on the MCU, where we always step up to take on new threats in a world that has changed forever. I am Mr. McCaughey, and returning to the podcast today to talk about Spiderman Far From Home are Scarlet and Rebecca. Welcome back.
Hello.
It's good to have you all here again. We did Civil War. I'm trying to think of what number Civil War. It was a while ago at this point. This is episode number 23.
Oh, Lord. That was like 15 or something?
Yeah, it was in around there.
Teens, yeah.
One of, by the time my list is done, Civil War will be up there. Civil War is a good movie.
Okay.
Good episode. One of my favorite moments of the year. The Team Cap versus Team Iron Man debate. Go back. Listen to it, but also check it out on the Classic YouTube channel because you get to see the full experience of that argument. Well, we're back. Anything new since we've last seen you here?
You can go.
There's nothing new.
We did that.
Yeah.
Completed APs. Check.
Multiverse of Madness.
I still haven't watched it.
You haven't seen it yet? You've seen it?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
It was alright. Lots of people argue if it was really good and if it was okay. I thought it was okay, and I have lots of personal reasons why it got okay.
Okay.
I've also heard a lot of things about it being very mid, so
yeah.
Okay, good to know. I was advised to watch WandaVision before I watch Multiverse of Madness.
I'm literally looking at you, Rebecca, because
Scarlett has been trying to get me to watch WandaVision for literally the
since
past
January
year.
of 2021. Okay.
Well, now you'll have time. We're coming up. We only have a week left in school or so you have plenty of time to do that. And then see Multiverse of Madness.
True.
Scarlett came around our history classes, pre-registering students to vote, which is super exciting. Anything on that? Who's the group you work with?
I work with this Civic Engagement and Social Justice Council, but we go by CE and SJ from Legal Outreach. And basically, we've gotten I believe around 70 students to pre-register from school, which is thank you again for this opportunity. Because talking to my other council members, lots of schools and teachers declined the opportunity for students to present. And
really?
Students, yeah, pre-register and just not to hype up Townsend Harris, but it's pretty cool to be part of a school that allows for these kind of projects to go on. And, yeah.
I would love to have a conversation with those teachers where it's not we talked about in one of the classes there were students that were a little hesitant, and we had to this isn't some devious we're going to register you for this party so you can vote this way, but it's literally just to register to vote. And we're talking about it in class now, seeing everything that happened during the civil rights movement and with women and with people of color, all throughout history. It's been really hard to get people to register to vote who want to register.
Yeah.
And we had that opportunity there. So glad you were able to come in. Glad we were able to do it. I said episode 23. We are approaching the end of the 27. But this is, another Spider-Man movie, another big one. Anything with Spider-Man, I think, a lot of people's favorite superhero is up there. So this movie came out July 2nd of 2019. You were just a few months short of starting your Townsend Harris career.
That is, I remember.
That's crazy.
It was a beautiful summer. It was before COVID came.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normal times.
Yes.
Did you see this in the theater?
I saw it twice in theater.
I saw it 2 weeks after it came out. But it was a great experience. Yeah.
All right. July 2nd, 2019 made $390 million in the box office. Puts in the top 10 of the 27, number 10, number 2 of the 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. Yes. Speaking of Mr. Tom Holland, he's back obviously as Peter Parker, Zendaya, and don't think I didn't double check how to pronounce her name.
You don't know how to pronounce it.
I don't. Well, look, I'm an older person here. Zendaya is not in my, or I'm not in her sphere. So I totally looked it up, and she phonetically gave it in a YouTube video. So I'll still probably pronounce it wrong somewhere along the way. Jacob, I don't know if I'm saying this right. Batalon is Ned. I think Ned is one of the underrated guys. You always need the good sidekick, and he does a good job with that. Jake Gyllenhaal is our villain, Mysterio or Quentin Beck. And then some old friends come back. Jon Favreau as Happy Hogan, and Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. Same director, Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, John Watts. So he is there for all 3 of them. So with that, I think we're ready to talk about this movie. I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. We'll kick off with our one-sentence synopsis. Oh, by the way, this is like the official end of the Infinity Saga, I believe.
Yes, it's the end of phase 4.
That was
3? 3? Yeah, 3. Yeah.
Which I just assumed that Endgame would be the end of the Infinity Saga.
I think we all did.
Yeah.
But then this comes along. So our one-sentence synopsis: following the events of Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man must step up to take on new threats in a world that has changed forever. So, with that being said, let me go, Rebecca. Your thoughts? Spider-Man No Way Home.
This was definitely a very big change of pace from Homecoming, I feel. Like, even in terms of his character development, he's stepping away from, like, Tony's name.
Yep.
I think it's cool to start, like, you start to see him, like, develop his own, like, personality and, like, or I don't want to say personality, but, like, character separate from Iron Man, which I know a lot of fans had always been like, oh, he's just like Iron Man Jr., but, like, you start to see him in this movie, even with he has a conversation with Happy about how he'll never like be Iron Man because he's Spider-Man. I love that conversation so much.
And he's like, clearly, like, there's almost a flip. In Endgame, we see Tony like mourning Peter being gone, and here we see the impact of Tony being gone. And that's even like, it's hard to believe that like Tony and Steve and Natasha are dead.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just even that idea, like, they're not
dead.
like, they're not in it's just crazy to think about. These people that have been like the pillars of this world are no longer here. We see them memorialized in the high school news video, which is so funny.
It is.
With the highlight being the like one of the last images they use. It has like the Getty Images like, stamp on it, which is like the most student thing ever. Like to have student work. Look, I'll find stuff to put in PowerPoint sometimes. Like, oh, I can't use that because it has like the Getty Images across. Yeah, and we learned about the blip, a little bit more about the blip. We'll talk about that. I didn't even know. I had to pretend in the Endgame episode when the guests were talking about the blip. I didn't know it was called the blip.
Oh, it's stupid. I think it's
You don't like it?
I don't.
Do not like it.
Why not?
Because I feel like snap, it just sounds so much like better. Like that is what happened.
That is.
He snapped, and everyone had been calling it the snap for the entire year after Infinity War came
Until
out.
this.
And then Endgame and or not Endgame, sorry. Far From Home dropped, and they called it the blip, and I was sitting in the theater like, are they talking about the snap? What?
Yeah.
What?
I think it's so because like the snap sounds like more like harsher, and like the blip is like, oh, you left and you came back now, and everything's fine.
yeah,
It's just a
But
little
it's not,
blip.
Yeah.
Nothing big.
But I hate it.
It was a little big though.
So both against the blip. Scarlett, before we talk more about the blip, your general reaction to
the film?
No Way Home, yes. Far From Home, excuse me.
It was great. I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. Honestly, I'm glad, like Rebecca said, like, since Civil War, like, Spider-Man hasn't really been, you know, his own character. He's always been, like, Tony's, like, little sidekick or, like, his apprentice in a way. And, like, this movie, like, Homecoming kind of, like, shows us, like, who he kind of is as a person. I feel like this movie is, like, showing us, like, the difference of him, like, becoming his own character, so his own hero. And I feel like, Homecoming and like Far From Home, it's like serving as prequels to No Way Home. I feel like No Way Home, that's when he becomes Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's like building towards it.
That's when he becomes one of the top, like the 3 Spider-Man. Like before then, and that's what like lots of because I don't know if you know, but like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, they were like the old Spider-Man. Lots of fans from the Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield, they hated Tom Holland's Spider-Man because they felt like he was, you know, just Tony's mentor, little kid. It wasn't their Spider-Man, but I feel like No Way Home like just showed us like who's Tom Holland's character Spider-Man is, and just like showed us who like really Spider-Man was. So like.
I think he's so good. So I've never seen the Andrew Garfield ones.
You should watch that. You should.
How many were there?
There are 2.
There's 2.
I think they were good, and I really like the second one especially.
I'll have to check that out. So I've seen the Tobey Maguire ones, and I just think Tom Holland, because for how he's portrayed so much of the early parts, so like from Civil War forward, he's like so young. And I think Tom Holland plays that really well. But he's like 100%. You said, he's growing here, and even like Aunt May being aware of who he is now adds a little bit more to it, and then we'll talk about what happened at the end of this movie, which is pretty crazy. Okay, so then let's go back to the blip or the snap. So I learned many things about the blip in this movie. Okay, so if you were blipped, you did not age. You stayed the same.
Yeah.
So if you but if you did not disappear, you age.
I have so many problems with that.
What's the problem?
Why are they all still in the same high school?
Yes.
That's
So
my
they
number
all
one
crowding.
concern. Yeah.
So that that is like a whole
I
other.
know.
So that and then their classmates are like, what is it? Was it 5 years?
Yeah.
Why
So
are
now
they
they're
in
like
the
gone.
same-
They're like in college or
But
beyond.
they're all still the same. I don't understand.
Also, like it was just uncomfortable seeing Brad, like this little kid that you used to hang out, is in the same grade as you. And like my little brother is older than me. Like how weird is that?
I had to, when he said that, I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
And then I had to stop and think. Sometimes there's like, you sometimes turn on like an MCU movie to be like, oh, entertainment, fighting villains. And I'm like, oh, I gotta think here. Hold on, what does he mean by that? But yes, his younger brother was older than him, and they like all got blipped. It seemed like like that many people in the school. The blip seems super scary.
It is. It was
Super hopeless. They do both a good job addressing how scary it is, like when the blip happens and they're all like kind of there and they disappear. And then it's also funny when they reappear and like the basketball game's going on and like the band is on it. I love the details that it seems to be popping up in these movies. I just watched Shang-Chi yesterday too, and there's all these little details in this.
Good movie.
What's the details? I'm sorry.
For Shang-Chi?
I'm
I'm
late.
just sorry.
In Shang-Chi or in
Well,
this?
the details of what? I'm sorry.
So
I'm
just
late.
so there's all these little details, right? So in this movie, and on my notes, I have like all these little D's next to details that like you just pick up. So there are a couple things. One, he's in his art class when they're kind of like reconnecting the first time, and all the drawings in the classroom. Tony's all over this movie.
Yeah.
They're like, there's like a dozen like Tony Iron Man, but then there's also like one Spider-Man. I'm like, did Peter draw that one? Did you notice his suitcase when he packs to go away?
What about the suitcase?
It has his Uncle Ben's initials on it.
I did not see that.
When it comes down, it's like whatever's middle. It's like BDP. It was like Ben, whatever Parker. So that's there.
Isn't his middle name like Benjamin or something?
His middle name is Benjamin. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah.
But it started. So that's it. No, it did start with Ben. And it's like an old suitcase, right?
Yeah.
And then did you notice the in-flight entertainment when like he's like choosing
the
what to
documentary
pick?
on
And they're all like
Yeah.
documentaries on Tony or on the Snap or on little things like that. So I like that anyway.
Everywhere I go, I see him.
Yeah, everywhere I
meme,
go, I
yeah.
see his face.
And he is like all over the place here. We then end up. We need to talk about. I'm going to save that. Fury pops back up in this.
Okay.
We haven't seen Fury. Fury has not been like a main character in a lot of the first movies. He is central to the story. When is he like killed? Is that Civil War? The fake death?
That's Winter Soldier.
It's Winter Soldier.
Yes, you're right.
But this one, like, he's back and he plays more of a character. You have something.
What?
I need to wait.
What?
They're currently whispering. I don't know if they're
revealed
saving me from a spoiler.
Oh, yeah.
They did?
Wait.
What?
I'm trying to think.
Talk to me about yourself.
Okay, what happened? What were the end credit scene of this movie? Did you watch all of them?
Yeah.
Yes,
no,
the
it was-
end credit
it was
scenes
him
of this
finding
were
out. It was
J. Jonah Jameson
Okay.
blowing him up, and then the
Yeah.
fact that he's in space.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you were asking.
Yeah.
I was
So
like,
basically,
what? Yes.
Sorry, it's because like WandaVision. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But basically, we should have known it wasn't Nick because first of all, like in Winter Soldier, he's like, I don't trust nobody. The last person I trust, I lost an eye. It was the cat, but still, he doesn't trust people. So, it was like nice to like rewatch this movie and like notice little things that it wasn't Nick Fury, and also Nick Fury's up in space. He has bigger things to do with. Like, it's interesting to see how the Kree have infiltrated. Yes, infiltrated Earth, and like I think the Marvels, like Captain Marvel's second movie is gonna explain more about that. But it's nice to see how like Marvel's building up to like another big thing.
And watching it, like he's very like, and then finding out that it's not him. It's very different Fury. He's like very angry.
Yeah.
He's very. But then I might have like attributed that to like prior to all this, like. When S.H.I.E.L.D. is a thing, he has a tremendous amount of power, he has a tremendous amount of influence, and then as that all goes away, he, like, loses everything as well.
He does.
So I thought that might be a little bit of where that change comes from. But we see at the end that he is, in fact, is he a Skrull? It's the Skrulls are impersonating
I'm so sorry.
him. No, but then the Kree, it's so hard to keep track of all these
It's
things.
like...
And they reference, like, these Kree sleeper cells and things like this. I learned of this. I feel like also this is our introduction to the multiverse. Someone in a previous episode we talked about like the different Earths. So like this is
Oh.
Earth 616.
Yes.
This is like where things happen,
Yeah.
but other things, there are these other multiverses as well. Do you have anything on, on these different multiverses? Will this be exposed in Multiverse of Madness? Do we see it in other places?
Okay, it's in the trailer. You're gonna see that in No Way Home. Okay. I'm
Okay.
sorry if that's.
Oh yeah, because then there are also the other
yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire and James Garfield.
Well, I feel like that's like
Yeah, everyone
we
knew
knew
that,
it before
yeah.
going into the movie.
No,
like
there
everyone
was
knew
there was
it.
like 99% chance.
Yeah,
Okay?
because
Okay.
everyone was adamant about denying it, and everyone was like,
Oh my God,
no
Andrew
way.
Garfield.
And then
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield
You should
was
ask
like,
them about
no.
for like the next podcast. You should ask them like the climate of like watching No Way Home, because that was like it was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Tickets were sold out immediately.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
People were thinking that they were gonna show up. Leaks were dropping. It was crazy. It was
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
Even the trailer was leaked.
Oh my gosh. When the trailer first dropped, I'm a very adamant Twitter user, and Twitter goes crazy about nitpicking everything.
Really? Twitter does that?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I usually just go on YouTube and watch the breakdown videos.
One of my favorite characters was picked in. This is a little off topic. One of my favorite characters, people were like, "Is that his arm?"
Oh,
And I was
Just
so
every little detail.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my goodness!" And then he was in the movie, and I screamed
We
very
all did.
loudly.
Yeah, finding out that the two old Spider-Man are in it is like finding out that like Tony dies in Endgame. Like just if you live
Yeah,
in like
yeah,
society,
that's true.
even if you don't know these movies, things just like come across,
Yeah.
whether you're on Twitter or like watching TV, things always pop around there. Let's talk about the Tony Peter connection here, right? I feel like we see a couple of things. One, he says he's like, I always feel like I'm putting my friends in danger, which I feel like is something Tony might have said in like Iron Man 2 or 3. Like the idea that like he puts
okay.
people in his life in danger.
Yeah.
You think and then by the end though, like he has this like impersonation of Tony when he's building the suit and he's pulling all
Yeah.
the things out. I don't know. Thoughts on Tony and Peter's relationship, or how Peter is evolving in the wake of Tony's death?
I think I said this in Civil War, but like Tony literally drags like Peter Parker into this whole other conflict. Like he was just a neighborhood Spider-Man. He was chilling. He was saving people, regular people. But then Tony just dragged him into this like whole world of conflicts and politics and like all of this stuff, all of this responsibility. And I feel like at the same time, like Tony shouldn't have never brought him a kid to that fight.
Oh yeah.
But he basically he just dumps so much responsibility on Peter Parker, but I think he knows that he could handle it. Like he sees the potential in Peter, like even how Happy said why Tony never second guessed picking
Peter,
him.
yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
was something really great that he said, because I feel like throughout this movie Peter Parker was doubting himself. He wasn't trusting himself. He didn't think he was powerful enough, or he could handle everything, but he can. He just has to organize a bit things, work life balance. But I think Tony, but also the thing is the thing of it's just the thing about father figures. Spider-Man has lost 3 people, key influential people in his life. First his actual father,
Yep.
then Uncle Ben,
Yep.
and now Tony.
Yeah.
And it's and then you could kind of see Mysterio stepping into that place of being a mentor for him, but clearly Peter needs people in his life to be there for him, and Tony was there for him, and Tony obviously cares so much about him, but it was great to see how Peter kind of had to go through those emotions, and how he handled Tony's death, seeing it as an opportunity for him to grow and become someone else. And I'm glad that he was I'm not Happy told him, you're not Tony, you're not Iron Man. Tony can't even be Tony himself. And also acknowledging the so many mistakes Tony has did, because I feel like people forgetting what's happening in Sokovia even after he died. But it's he wasn't perfect, and neither does Peter Parker need to be. He just has to be his own person, and I'm glad he's owning up to that. Yeah. Rebecca?
Yeah, I kind of adding on to that, I think there's a big theme of trust in this movie.
100%.
Tony is a person who doesn't trust people or himself, and you can kind of see that reflected in Peter. He doesn't want to tell anybody about Spider-Man, and then as you brought up, he was oh, people knowing that I am Spider-Man just puts them in danger. So he's kind of also more reclusive, but then you can see him start trusting not only other people with his secret, you can see with his development with MJ
His
and
heart.
Aunt May, but also trusting himself. You can see at the end with the drone scene with Quentin Beck, when he finally actually takes a breath and trusts himself to know what he's doing. Oh, such a good
was
moment in the
beautiful.
movie. Yeah.
I just wanted to add on, like, even Tony didn't trust himself. Like, you see, like, Edith, it has so many weapons. It's because Tony did not trust, like, himself to be the one to protect Earth. That's why he, like, put, like, a shield of armor around Earth. And, going on, like, trusting yourself, that's a big theme. And it's, like, it was a really important thing for Peter to know going into No Way Home. And,
Where did the Spidey sense go? Or is they calling it just the Peter tingle?
I hate that.
Which, like, that, like, trusting himself. Because, like, that is, like, the first thing, I think when I think even about, I haven't seen the Tobey Maguire ones in a while, but, like, that's the first, like, power that seems to pop up, is that he's got this extra sense. And he doesn't have it. It's never kind of explained. I don't know. Is there...
Honestly, I just hate that they called it the Peter tingle. Like,
and they kept going with it, and it was like...
You don't know how iconic it is. Like,
Spidey sense. Like, Spidey sense is a cultural thing, too, that, like, people use, like, to talk about themselves or other things. Yeah, but it disappears, but he has it when he needs it the most. And in my notes, I have, like, that is, like, Spider-Man... part of my language, at his most badass. Like, that whole scene right there, like, he's out of control with the fighting in that.
So good. When he grabbed Scarlet, we're literally rewatching it, like, 8th band, and I'm sitting in front of the phone, I'm like, oh my goodness, now I know I love this movie so much.
It is.
Things like that.
I think that is one of the best scenes there, and he does fight really well in that. You mentioned Quentin Beck. Our thoughts, whenever I break down these movies, you know, it's always like, how does the superhero do? What's the villain like? What's the relationship when I'm trying to, like, grade them? Talk to me about Quentin Beck.
I hate Mysterio. Yeah. He is so messy, even in death. Like, that's the thing that's, like, because, like, most of these MCU villains, like, they die, they're done. You're done. Yeah. But no, even in death, he haunts Peter. And, like, ooh, No Way Home. Ooh. Oh
my gosh. Literally everything that came out of Quentin Beck, you could hear our collective sighs when you brought him up. Like this man does not know when to stop. Like, the way that he has, like, an emotional and psychological hold over Peter, and then he finds out he's a child, and then he's like, okay,
let's kill him.
It's free game. He's like, all right, a child?
Whatever.
Children, do they really, you know, matter?
Oh, and his friends. Let's kill them all.
And then, he asks, oh, who knows you're Spider-Man? And then he tells them, he's like, okay, we'll kill them too.
What? Also, it's also, like, he's he knows Peter's in a I can't say words. Vulnerable place right now, and, like, he exploits that, like, using him like a meant to survive. And and the thing is, like, I don't know if you've seen the other Spider-Man movies, but, like, like, all of the villains of, like, I feel like all of the Spider-Man villains are just terrible people in person. Because, like, after they find out that this kid's a minor, they're like, oh, let's kill him. Let's go hard. Let's
it's gonna be even easier to kill him now. He's a child.
Like, where's the moral compass? And also, I feel like Quentin Beck really chose the wrong occupation. Like, he could have won an Oscar at this rate.
Right.
Like,
with all that, it is
exactly,
true. And
like,
he develops Barf, which is a callback to Civil War. There's there. Tony used it there. Does he not get exposed? Like, the way that, like, he's trusted to expose Peter at the end? Like, does no one know that, like, he was responsible for, like, by the way, let's add London to the cities that have been totally destroyed list, and he doesn't care about destroying them. Maybe he is a little bit like Tony in that regard. But no one, he just got away with it and was, like, the hero?
I had such a bone to pick with that movie when it finished. I was like, no one fact-checked this. No one checked for, like, doctored
weird.
or
Like,
edited
so then
footage.
who was the villain? Like, they just still they can't chalk it up to the elementals because it gets exposed. Like, you see all the drones and everything. So, no, it feels a little... like, sloppy that he's a trusted voice to expose Peter as, like, a killer, like, as a bad person.
But also, I think it's because it was submitted. He knew what he was doing when he was submitting to the Daily Bugle, because they take any opportunity for Spider-Man slander. But I feel like any other news source would do a little bit more fact-checking
more homework.
And I feel like I hate how everyone forgot like, Peter literally helped save everybody.
Exactly. Like
like
all his history.
And what do I want to say? The James J.
Jonah Jameson.
Yeah,
the
Triple
reference.
J.
Oh my God, I
love
screaming.
that. I was so excited when that first happened.
Yeah. Also, like, I don't. Like, in No Way Home, it's like we kind of forget about Mysterio. We focus more on Spider-Man and what the public thinks of him. So, like, Mysterio's, like, gone, but, like, his effect continues.
Oh, yeah.
And, honestly, and also, like, just think about society in general. We have so much fake news that people actually believe.
Right?
So,
like of all things.
Yeah.
Like, also, he's accusing this kid of being Spider-Man, and everyone's like, oh, a 15-year-old being Spider-Man? That makes sense, right? I feel like there'd be a bit more questioning, like who is this random kid?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to, like, dirty his name. He was 15.
Yeah, literally.
Like, I feel like a lot of people think that Spider-Man's at least a little bit older than,
Yeah, like
you know,
21.
Still, yeah,
No.
because all these
Yeah.
events are in short order.
Yeah.
Like Endgame and Infinity was like only like a year and a half
Yeah.
or so
Yeah.
after Civil War, and this is only a little bit after that.
Yeah.
I'm just realizing though, I'm kind of having a multiverse quandary here. J. Jonah Jameson, that same actor, is in the Tobey Maguire as J.
Yeah.
So then how is he here? Isn't that a different?
Coincidence?
Yeah. It
feels
just
a-
happens that he's the same person on
Yeah.
Earth,
Fair
on both
enough.
Earths.
I will
only
say,
one
for me, Mysterio and Quentin Beck knocked this movie down a little bit. I don't think he's a good villain. I don't know. Maybe I don't buy Jake Gyllenhaal. When I saw it was Jake Gyllenhaal, I think of maybe more as like a dramatic actor.
Yeah, I
He's
get that.
okay. And then
Yeah.
even like, at first I was like, the Elementals, that sounds like, without knowing that it was
Yeah.
fake, I was
Yeah.
like, that seems a little, lazy or not the best.
Yeah.
But even with him, yeah, I don't love him. If I was making like my own rankings of villains,
Oh,
Mysterio
at
might
the
be
bottom.
towards the
Yeah.
bottom of that.
yeah.
But also his whole vendetta, first of all, it's against Tony. And he's only going after Peter because of a kind of connection to Tony.
Yeah.
Why are you It's
He did
so
too much.
messy.
He had so much technology. He could have done a little,
So,
like,
yeah.
just the drama.
And he was like, actually, I'm going to target Peter.
yeah, like, and when he could have, like, if you wanted to kill him, you could have done the moment you met him, you know?
Right.
But he decided to go, like, all the CGI.
Right.
Like, the budget, where was it? Like, it was, yeah, I honestly, I hate him. He's always going to be on the bottom. But as a
Yeah.
villain, he was really effective in, like, just traumatizing Peter. Like,
Yeah.
just affecting him.
Yeah, that's true.
I felt it in the movie, too. Every time he
Oh.
had a scene with the drones and Peter was in, like, that headspace.
Yeah.
I felt like it was like you get thrown around so much and you're like,
Yes.
oh my goodness. And you can even see
You can't even trust the movie itself.
literally
There are a bunch of times where I go on. It's just I'm a little
Yeah.
confused now.
Yeah.
like there's I think one of the first drone scenes where he tricks Peter, where he's trying to fight him and then you can see him like punch something and it turns into like
Yeah.
something.
Yes,
And he
yes.
pulls him and it's like actual like steel like bars and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is incredible, but this is messing with my head so badly.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about MJ.
Oh, MJ.
Your thoughts, Scarlett? Just anything about whether it be Zendaya or MJ or anything, her performance.
Yeah. Well, I was raised on Zendaya, seeing her on the Disney Channel.
Oh yeah.
So
What was she in? I don't even know.
Shake It Up.
Shake It Up.
Casey Undercover.
She was also in like a couple of movies.
Was Frenemies Disney?
Yes, Frenemies
movie, good
and
movie.
Zap. Zap was really
Zapped.
good.
Yep.
She was also in something. Also, basically we know her from there. So seeing her, like, I think this was like her. Okay, no, this wasn't. This was like her second movie role, but I feel like this was the movie that was like Zendaya. Her name finally got out there on like
For like films. Yeah.
movie like one of the top actresses in the world. That's
Yeah.
when Spider-Man put her on that spot, but she deserves it, honestly. What I liked about MJ, that was, so basically, I like how she was different. Well, that sounds stupid. Just like, she's a different kind. She's quirky. No, I like how. What I love about this movie specifically is how they capture like how teenagers actually are. Like we're awkward, we're uncomfortable, and I love how they communicate that. Especially, and the comedy was just amazing. I love MJ and Peter's story. It was honestly really sweet to see him be such a regular kid and have a crush.
Yeah.
And I love the relationship.
Me too. Gosh.
Yes.
MJ. Also, I just love how like MJ is so like analytical of things. Like the whole scene on the bridge where she was like explaining all the reasons and
Yeah.
in order
To
about
tell,
why
yeah.
Peter is Spider-Man, and he's like, "No, it's not."
And then he finally gives it, and she's like, I was only like 67% sure. I will say they figured out when they found the like little projector. They found that out like immediately.
Yeah,
They're like,
literally.
so is the whole thing's fake. It's like that was quick, but she's awesome. The character is great. I think,
Yeah.
like you said, I think they do a great job encapsulating different teenagers, like and
Yes.
different types of students in the school. From who's the jerk kid? I can never remember.
Flash.
Is he?
Thompson.
Does he end up being something bigger? Because like there's
No.
He's always that annoying bully you have.
He's just
like,
there.
because like they give him a little bit of a backstory that there's like parental neglect.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite scenes is when he
Yes.
puts Edith on the first time. By the way, even
Yeah,
dead
oh my
on the
God,
hero
yes.
is
Oh,
hilarious.
yes.
Another great kind of like Tony was there despite
Yeah.
being dead. But when he puts the glasses on, he can read everyone's
Yes.
text. It's another one of those details things. And his is like, Mom and Dad, you haven't called me back yet.
Oh,
And then when he goes to the airport, like the chauffeur's picking him, he's like,
yeah.
Mom couldn't come and get me. So I don't know if that would be going somewhere, but
Yeah.
the-
Not really.
Honestly, Yeah, it just shows like he's a
like,
bully, but you know.
he's shown briefly in No Way Home, but like not really anything character development wise.
He's still in ASS.
Yeah.
Oh, that is like the origin of a bully. I guess, you know, he's not getting love at home, so he acts out.
Also, the way like Spider-Man literally knocked him out when he was trying to get the Ethan's glasses, hilarious. I also love how they show his like all of his powers, like his spider sense. I'm not calling it Peter Tingle.
No,
his strength, also like like his strength and his ability to use his webs to like create things and stuff. It's he really came along a far way from Civil War. Yeah.
I have in my notes. I mini gasped when they kissed. Like,
Yeah.
It wasn't like it wasn't a huge gasp, but it was
It
like
was so cute. I loved it.
Because it was so brief. You have to like process it, and you're like, oh my gosh, it happened.
Yes, because we were all rooting for them.
Yeah.
It was so sweet seeing that moment.
And even Peter's whole plan. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get the Black Dahlia. I'm gonna do.
Yes.
It is just very sweet,
Yes.
and they both play it real. They're dating. Are they dating in real life?
Yeah.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh
I
my
remember
God,
that day.
yes.
Oh my gosh. I
yes.
texted Scarlet
It's-
so
yeah.
quickly.
It's not good to ship real life people.
Yeah.
However, it's nice to cheer them on when
Yeah.
they're together. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, they're all really good. I think they do. I think I didn't think of it that way, but I think all the actors do a really good job playing a certain type of teen in this story. And then one of the biggest post-credit scenes, like when he gets exposed there, that's another one's like, oh my god.
I literally screamed holy in the movie theater.
Oh my goodness.
Because the movie kind of ends, and it's like, okay, things are kind of normal, and he's taking her out on a ride and everything, and then all of a sudden this just flashes, and he's not only exposed to Spider-Man, but as like a killer.
Yeah.
Now he killed this guy, and again, it's a little hole laid in there with the idea of that this guy would be like this hero that he had killed, but yeah, this is going to be a big part of No Way Home.
100%.
His new life as this exposed Spider-Man now.
The entire beginning plot.
Yes. And it was so crazy because you leave the movie theater just feeling holy, what the hell happened?
I was literally like,
it was pretty shocking.
I was waiting for them to be just joking, no. And it's imagine going 2 years, because I remember because No Way Home came out 2 years later, 3, and it's just you kind of forgot it, but then you're like, oh wait, they know his identity, what's gonna go on? It was crazy.
I was theorizing for so long after that movie came out. I was like, this is gonna happen. They could go this way. This could happen.
It was nothing that we expected though.
That was
but
I'm glad that they went the direction that they did.
Yes.
I will check back in after I see No Way Home. You mentioned, is this now phase 4?
This ended.
This ended phase 3.
Yeah.
So then, Fury on the spaceship, I'm guessing, is this just now planting the seeds for what will be all these future movies? Because he's up to something. They're building a tremendous amount of stuff in space.
I recommend. Also, sorry.
You're good.
I recommend watching WandaVision and.
Weird.
WandaVision, and then seeing the second Captain Marvel movie, because I feel like they're gonna explain what's going on.
We'll pull a bit more out.
I'm just thinking about the series. Maybe the new series coming out. Miss Marvel might explain some things.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
But yeah, it's building up to something. But I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I low-key completely forgot about that part of the post-credit scene because I feel like they haven't really touched.
Yeah, I also screamed at that too. I was like,
really,
this man was faking it the entire time.
Yeah.
And then it also leaves a question: when did Nick Fury change? When was? Because I was thinking okay, so he knows him from the funeral. So was he there?
Yeah.
Was he the one that contacted Captain Marvel? When did this switch happen? Was it after Winter Soldier? That was the thoughts I had, because then it would change so much dynamics and so many things we thought we knew.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was lots of not betrayal, but revelations. Yeah.
I'll ask you all what I've been asking a lot of the guests as we make our lists. Well, first of all, the amount of content they're producing, it's almost too much at this point. It's just it's just seeing, it's
give us a break.
This you gotta slow down. I get when you pay billions of dollars for something, you want to churn it out. But just sticking to the movies at least. Thor, we're about a month away from Thor.
Yes. I'm sorry.
We got Black Panther 2 in November.
We do. Also, so it's not related to Marvel, but Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Part 2.
Is that coming out?
Yeah.
Is it end of this year? Or did they
It's
push
October.
it to 2023?
I think it's... They did that. I'm gonna be so mad.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry.
But then 2023 will also have the new Guardians and the second Captain Marvel. Out of all of those, is there anything you're looking forward to?
Thor. That's coming in March.
Thor trailer is good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I agree that there's a lot that they're pushing out. I haven't been able to catch up just because I'm so overwhelmed with the amount of content that they've been producing recently. Because there was also She-Hulk trailer that they put out.
I couldn't tell if that was real when I saw it. Like,
The
it's
CGI
called
was so
She-Hulk
old.
Attorney at
Yeah.
Law. That's the show, and they're like, that's it. It's like,
It really
Attorney
gave
at
me-
Law. Who does that remind me of?
Oh, actually, there's theories that he might be in the show.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
Now I have to watch it.
Yeah, you should watch WandaVision first. Yeah.
Oopsies.
Sorry. I've been telling Rebecca since January 2021. I really, it's embarrassing.
Get on it.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, we've come to the point of our show. We always ask, just for a rough Spider-Man Far From Home within your Marvel lists and rankings, where do we generally put this? You can tell me that, and within the 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, where you put
I
it.
just wanted to say something before. Like, we don't acknowledge the CGI in this movie of the traumatizing scenes. It was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. When Dead Tony literally started to
Started
crawl.
crawling.
Oh my god.
The silence for it was
Oh,
like,
that is
you're
true, when he, like, came
you're
out of the grave and
reason
all
that
that.
Tony
He
died.
died.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It was crazy. Also, like, there was like bodies, like Steve Rogers was like dead.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. Also, the animation of this movie, like the effects, Spider-Man, like you're gonna see No Way Home. They like up the ant, like.
Oh yeah.
But it's just beautiful, and just like honestly, the message is trust in yourself, believe in yourself. Yes.
That's it.
Okay. Where do you rank?
Honestly, you go first. Rebecca.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I think it ranks higher in my MCU list,
Yeah.
and out of the Spider-Man movies, I think it goes in order like No Way Home first, Far From Home, Homecoming. I
Really?
think it just gets better.
Ah.
Yeah. You put Homecoming over Far From Home?
Well, like out of the 3 movies.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll put
'cause
No Way Home first.
I thought you were like including Tobey Maguire movies.
No. Out of the
I was
MCU ones.
yeah.
I think
yeah,
I think
basically,
they just
yeah,
get
yeah,
exponentially
100%.
better.
I agree. Honestly, I think Far From Home is one of my I think it's high on my Marvel list.
Yeah.
It's just I don't have a really defined Marvel list. Because
Yeah, but it's towards the top.
Actually,
Yeah.
I made a tier list of
Really?
Marvel movies. Where's my phone?
Oh, okay.
Let me see which tier I put it in.
Yeah, it's a really great movie. I love the comedy.
Tears is interesting. And so that's another. It's a very funny movie.
It's
Like that's one of
hilarious.
the things that runs throughout it. It is a funny movie, and I respect these movies when they can put some laughs in them. I like your tier system. If I put it in a tier system, I put it in the second tier.
Really?
I think I like Homecoming better. I don't know. I don't like Mysterio and Quentin Beck. There's something with that. I don't know. But then, on the other hand, Homecoming, I was a huge Vulture fan. Maybe I had higher because I think at the end of the day, push comes to shove, I think I pick Spider-Man as my favorite superhero. Like, just, the
same.
costume, the powers, all that.
person.
But this kind of ends up towards the middle of my list.
Okay.
I don't
You know
know.
what? That's pretty fair.
What's your top?
Okay, so top. We haven't been with each other in a while.
Yeah.
You want my top 5?
Oh
Yeah.
yes, actually.
Now I could see these lists are hard.
Okay.
Oh, you know what?
Just
5
go
through
for it.
7, I have Avengers, Civil War, and Black Panther. They're
Okay.
all kind of
Okay.
like give or
Okay.
take. They could probably swap. But then I loved Guardians of the Galaxy,
I love
Interesting.
Ragnarok,
Oh, that's up there for me too.
Endgame,
that. Okay.
and Infinity War is my favorite one so
the
far.
comedy Infinity War was amazing.
Yeah.
Infinity War, there's just so much happening in that movie,
Yeah.
but it's
Oh,
all
yeah.
really good. And
And
like,
the way they
as
piece
I've
it,
moved
yeah.
past it, when I watch it, I was like, kind of traumatized by the end of Infinity
Oh
War.
my
The way like
God.
everyone
Oh, yeah.
disappears
Yes.
and then the
Oh my
movie's
God.
just over, and
Over.
it's like, that's
Yes,
it.
I
But then
remember
I've
that.
almost, even though it was only a few weeks ago I watched it, I've come to appreciate that. Just when you can pull out that pure emotion where you're like shook by something at the end, like there's some, even though it's not a good emotion, there's something to be said for that. Did you have your tears?
Oh, I wanted to wait till you finished talking to look for it.
Those are good tiers. I like
Let's
before I got into Marvel, into the MCU, Guardians of the Galaxy was always my favorite. Yeah, because of the comedy of the movie. Like
The comedy. That's
That's
you know,
true.
Yeah. I feel
That's
like
good.
those are like the first. That was like the first Marvel movie that was like really funny, and like all the other movies started to like follow suit.
I feel like this is like a cutoff where they start to fall off for me. That's why it's like kind of in the middle. So like,
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Far From Home was alright, but No Way Home, that is something else.
Far From Home. Okay, so these are my tiers.
Wait, you organize it like that?
Okay, it says, so the first tier is called Literal Cinematic Masterpiece. Still really good. It's pretty good in the grand scheme of things. It's alright. I enjoy watching it, but everyone thinks it's
There's
a
so
dumpster
many
fire.
tiers.
Garbage adjacent, and then have not watched. And Far From Home ended up in still really good, which is the second to the top.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that would
You
probably
should share
be.
this to me.
I'm so sorry. I sent it to my friend who started watching it.
Really, you put Ragnarok and still really good?
Yeah. Wait, no.
Email that to
Yeah.
me too. I want to see that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
so end up on the
Blasted
podcast
on the podcast.
Yeah,
Instagram.
my
Maybe
literal
we'll share
cinematic
that out.
masterpiece. I have Winter Soldier, Endgame, Iron Man 2, Black Panther, Avengers, Falcon Winter Soldier, Shang-Chi, and No Way Home.
of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I could see some.
When you say Winter Soldier, that's right below that. That
Yeah.
Avengers, Civil War, and Black Panther one. Well,
So good.
I think we did it. We like it. I might have wished it was a little bit better, but I didn't dislike
Way
it. I don't
Home.
dislike
Yeah.
it. We'll see how we do with No Way Home. Well, we're the 27. Find us wherever you found us today. Apple Podcasts. You can leave us a 5-star review. Do the same on Spotify there. On Instagram at the 27THHS. Maybe we'll post Rebecca's many tiered
Yes.
list if she
I'll
shoots
blast
me an
it.
email with
It's
those.
canceled.
Check out the classic YouTube channel, Letterboxd, to see our rankings. Leave some comments there for us. We have the classic critic. We have our producer Jess here. Can people still sign up or look at your email? Search for Mr. Sweeney sending you an email and find it there. They're going through that if you want to be a part of Tomato Meter or the 27 Season 2, which will be the TV shows.
Oh, we have to
next
sign
year.
up for
Yes. Oh yes. Oh my God. Yes. Also, Moon Knight, Rebecca. Get on that.
I'm sorry, there's too many
There's
things.
too much. There's too
Sorry.
much. Well, we'll be coming back with
Alright.
that next year. Next week, our episode Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten
Good movie.
Rings.
Such a good movie.
Oh, I thought no way.
No,
But
there's-
aren't you doing it in order?
yeah, Shang-Chi came out first. Shang-Chi came out in
Yeah,
like
but
September,
like,
October. No Way
Far
Home
From
came out.
Home literally came out after No Way Home.
Oh, that's true. It's okay.
So this was my list in terms of not the like when they were released, when they
They're
were
correct.
in
Yeah.
the universe.
Well, No Way Home
I
does
don't know.
happen immediately
Yeah,
after.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the second of, yeah.
Interesting. Well, I'm like trying to record all these episodes before we
Yeah,
leave,
yeah.
so they're all
Oh,
kind of
you know, yeah,
condensing
yeah.
anyway. But maybe I'll double check that because we're recording them this week, but they're still not being released
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
multiple weeks. We're trying to get them in. Well, Rebecca, Scarlett, thank you for joining us. Another fun episode. We appreciate you coming in.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Enjoy your summer. Maybe we'll
Yes.
see you next year
Oh.
on a TV show
Yes, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
episode. Excellent. And we'll see all of you next week
Yes.
on the 27th. Take care.